Less use of Copilot, more me time at the spa.
I sure could go for a diet dude right about now. Feeling a little too mellow.
I wonder if my boss would let me expense some Copilot ink. I really dig the colors.
Wake up!
It's time for Beyond Live.
We've got to go.
Hey, I'm Scott Chasen, and you're watching Beyond Live.
The MSP Channel's favorite industry event is back, and it's better than ever.
Beyond 2024 delivers innovation, education, and community. And PAX 8 Live will be here every step of the way to recap all of the highlights from the main stage to the showroom floor and beyond.
Copilot, AI, cybersecurity, and the evolution of the cloud marketplace are this year's hot topics. And we have curated an all-star lineup to keep you up to date with the latest technology trends.
Now, buckle up and enjoy the ride. Beyond Live 2024 starts now.
Welcome to Beyond.
Please welcome to the stage Rob Ray, Corporate Vice President of Community and Ecosystems.
Thank you very much for being here. We're obviously very flattered, very privileged that you would take time out of your schedules to join us here in Denver, Colorado for Beyond 24, our second annual event. All right. My boss is about to come on stage. He's sitting back there going, I wonder if they're excited. Are you guys excited? All right, there we go. Without further ado, let me introduce you to the Chief Commerce Officer, the new president of PAX 8, Mr. Nick Hetty.
Are you ready for 2 days of nonstop community, education, and innovation? Make some noise if you are. We had the goal of making Beyond the IT industry event for partners like you, but it's become so much more than that. Beyond has become a movement. PAX 8 is leveling up our game because we don't win unless you do. United by a singular mission to champion the potential of every small and medium business out there. PAX 8 currently supports over 35,000 partners in 46 countries. That's right, 35,000 partners driving forward the cloud solution revolution. Our community is enabling over 550,000 SMB customers from 62 countries around the world. That's 500,000 businesses that rely on you and rely on us every single day.
All right, everybody, welcome to Beyond Live 2024. We brought in the hype men. Super, super happy to have you, Nick. Rob, welcome to the live show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, one word to describe how both of you feel right now.
Energized. It is so amazing, and it's hard to describe the energy of being on that stage and looking out. And I know we say 2,600-ish. It looked like 5,000. It looked like a sea of people, and you can just feel the energy radiating from them. So, energized is mine.
You asked for one word, and that was about 75.
It was.
Energized.
Did we expect Nick to give us just one? We know. We have the Nick factor built into this. So what's your one word?
To be honest, we're only 25% through this, so I'm still nervous. I'm still hoping that the rest of this goes as smoothly as this morning did.
Man, so for anybody that's maybe watching on YouTube, what is Beyond? Tell us a little bit about the event in general.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, we want to make it the go-to event in the MSP space, and I think you could probably argue that we're pretty close, even after only our second time doing this, or 1.25 times of doing this. It's a place for MSPs to come and learn, and I think the distinct advantage of what we have here at Beyond with PAX 8 specifically is the idea that we're not here pitching our product, right? We obviously have the new product innovation through the marketplace that is going to help MSPs do many different things through cross-sell, upsell, all those things. But more so is the fact that we can actually focus on the MSP's business, on the MSP's growth, and then they have a whole bunch of choice as far as technology goes. So we're not just pushing our product or our agenda here.
Yeah. So we've all been in the channel like a really long time, and we've seen a bunch of inaugural events.
Speak for yourself.
Oh yeah, sorry. It's a gray hair. But so, we've seen these things kind of launch, and last year was really successful for an inaugural event. But what was top of mind for you coming into this year for the second time around?
Yeah, having executed what I thought was a great inaugural event, and I think even from the very beginning, that's how we described it. That wasn't the end for us. That was a great inaugural for us. So bigger expectations, better content, really living the three pillars of community, education, and innovation, which has very little to do with PAX 8 at all. So just creating a place to aggregate and amplify the voice of our partners, and to continue to raise the bar year over year. So when you're clicking through in the wee hours of the night and those slides aren't going perfect, that's stressful because we want to give our partners the best content in the world because they deserve it. So those are the expectations I had coming in.
Very good.
Absolutely. Obviously very similar. We want to exceed everybody's expectations. And that comes through a number of different things. And yes, things like the content is going to be super important. People need to walk away with value. They have to walk away with actionable items so that they want to come back and get that. But for me, we have a phenomenal executive team, Nick included, that have the ability to deliver that phenomenal content. For me, it's more so just making sure that all the little things are taken care of. And you do this in all aspects of your life with anything that you care about. If you think about a spouse or a partner, like you do these little things in order to make sure that you're keeping your relationship moving forward in a very positive way. So we do the same thing with our partners and this event in particular. So I'm also looking at all the little tiny things that are important. The size of the screen, the lights, the being on time. Those kinds of things are also very important for us as well.
Absolutely. So we're 0.25% of the way through, right? We've got some really cool stuff coming. So we've got Olympic gold medalists, we've got a really well-known author. I know, David, you're a huge fan.
Huge fanboy, read all his books, listened to all the podcasts, TED Talks and stuff. Huge fan of Malcolm Gladwell. What was it you wanted to hear from those two speakers to give to the channel? I think
there's a couple different things. I think when you go to a technology conference, you want somebody that is going to be relevant for the audience. And, that's hard-ish in our space because, it's full of entrepreneurs, it's full of like small, medium-sized businesses. So trying to find relevant content as opposed to just a regular celebrity. Amy has a phenomenal story, and as a day one keynote, she's not as well known. She's not necessarily a brand name, especially because we have an international audience, and she's an American, I think 8-time gold medal winner, maybe 6-time gold medal winner, and just an absolutely amazing story that we have the ability to bring to our audience, and they may have never heard of her before, and it's going to be exceptional. Malcolm, similar. I've got a list of kind of my my wish list of keynotes that I would love to bring to the MSP space. Malcolm's been on that list for a very long time. I'm a big fan of his books as well, and of course, the best part about him, fellow Canadian.
Very much. So, last thing, Nick, congrats! You got a promotion, and so you are now the President and Chief Commerce Officer of PAX 8. What does that hold? What's in store for PAX 8 with your new role?
Yeah, so I have been at PAX 8 11 years, all under the same leader, John Street, who is like my father and really means a great deal to me. So president is a moment for me to shift my focus. We now have an amazing business leader and technology visionary. And I don't know if you caught his keynote this morning.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So my job, and the biggest difference is I've got a new leader to support, and I can see us and where we're at today, and Scott is showing us about the robots in the future and RRM. So my job is to get us from here to there.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for your time. I know it's a huge event. Big congratulations on an awesome kickoff.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you to them. I want to make sure that we keep on rolling. enjoy Beyond 2024. But up next, she's kind of a big deal. Let's take a look.
You know, one of the things that excites me the most about all of the co-pilots and the AI that Microsoft is bringing to the market is the fact that we're really democratizing AI. We're democratizing AI in a way that hopefully makes it easier for all of you and for our customers to be able to adopt, effectively getting enterprise-grade capabilities within a small and medium business. 79% of our customers would say that when it comes to cloud, securing that cloud is most important to them, and clearly that's been a theme for us this morning. And that 87% of customers really see AI adoption as being a competitive differentiator, whether that be through the way that they bring their solutions to market, the way that they engage with their own customers, or how they operate their own internal operations. It really is a unique moment in our history, not just for tech, but for all of us as humans. I don't know, when I see Scott's presentation, I'm really enamored. I think it's amazing. At the same time, it really is a remarkable time for humanity and also for the role that we play supporting our customers. As I mentioned, Microsoft is a partner-led business. We developed the platform, but you are the heroes who make it happen every single day for our customers. And on behalf of everyone at Microsoft, I just want to say a genuine thank you. I look forward to the impact that we'll have, not just this year, but in the coming years, in helping to support our customers' success. Thank you all.
What a great keynote session. I'm so excited to have Sharon join us. Thank you so much for taking the time. You have a really impressive resume. So just give us a quick who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thanks, Kristen, first for having us here. I'm Sharon Schoenborn. I have the opportunity to lead our business for Microsoft that looks after the engagement with small and medium businesses and corporate customers across the Americas. And been with Microsoft for 23 years, most of that in sales, and just really excited about the opportunity we have right now to help support our customers.
There's a lot going on in Microsoft, and I don't think a conference is going to be a conference or a show or anything without AI in particular. I think there's a really big opportunity. And just tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are on that.
Yes, it is. It's a unique moment right now. You can feel it. You can feel it from all the messages this morning. What I would say is with Microsoft, we really see a huge opportunity to help democratize AI, and perhaps with the opportunity to have our applications and have Copilot built within the applications. We have 190 million users that we have the opportunity to embed Copilot and activate real-time within the tools that people are used to using every day. And when combined with Copilot plus PC and the ability to customize and integrate Copilots, I think we're at a real verge of seeing people adopt it at a daily basis.
And so if we're thinking about partners, end users, what is something that they can maybe do to get started today, right now, and get activated?
I think there are three things. First, it all starts with readiness for all of us, is really dive into the Pax8 Academy to really dig in and deeply understand the potential. But then secondly, building out your own value proposition and unique value proposition and how you're going to take that to market. From a Microsoft perspective, we believe that the integrated platform creates amazing opportunity for our partners to then build upon with their managed services offerings. And I think the third piece is to then be able to differentiate that with a unique offer for the market.
Goodness. And when we're looking at partnerships, Pax8 and Microsoft, we've really been hand in hand. So I think that there's maybe some new exciting opportunities that are coming up as well that you talked about a little bit in your keynote. If you want to kind of dive in on that a little bit.
Well, there are. And first, I would just like to say a huge congratulations to Pax8 and your entire partner channel, because you really are our #1 revenue growth driver this year. So incredible impact in the market. I think right now the opportunity is ahead of us, especially on helping customers with security. So this morning, I just announced that together we're partnering in what is a North American first, launching a Security Center of Excellence that really will be a core set of resources to help support partners to build their Microsoft security practice to help support the customers.
We know how important cybersecurity is, and it's definitely just taking everything by storm. So as we dive in together, I'm really excited to really build this and take it from North America and beyond there. So as far as everything that we have going on, I know that we talked through Copilot, we talked through AI. if you just don't mind giving us maybe your favorite Copilot tip, because I know you're using it as well.
Sure. I mean, I'm learning every day. I keep every day I make sure that I'm prompting and trying something new. The one thing that I have found a great deal of value is we all either are traveling for work or take a week off for holiday. Quite simply going into Copilot, rather than starting in my email box, I'm going straight to Copilot and scanning, asking a few prompts of please summarize the emails and the Teams chats from these specific people so that I feel like I've got a summary of what's waiting for me. And secondly, doing the same on some Teams meetings that I knew were really important but I missed, and then using that to help me get to the moment in the meeting that I feel is going to be most important for me to go back and rewatch. And when I've done that, I would say it has reduced the time that it's taken for me to get back up to speed after a break, at least by 5 times.
Wow. I mean, I know that at PackSite we talk a lot about gaining efficiencies, and I think that proves that right there.
You bet. It's amazing.
Does. Well, Sharon, amazing keynote. Thank you so much for taking the time today. I really, really appreciate you and just the great partnership that we have between Microsoft and PackSite. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Proud to be here.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, we are going to throw it over. We had a great happy hour last night with our international team. Let's check it out.
Absolutely pumped. It's going to be a great day. I'm actually really excited about the keynote, but it's the networking. I'm really pumped for the networking. I just like to see everyone attended. I don't get to all the same.
I think just to be able to see and collaborate with a bunch of experts in their field and see what everyone's local region has to offer and see the mix that we've got here to transition away from traditional MSP to what could be the new play. I think it's cool.
The key is build up those relationships with people so that when you run into problems or opportunities, then you've got somebody to go to and say, right, how do you think we can sort this out? What can we do to benefit our customers?
This community, it's something that has kind of come together over years that has made me feel really included in the industry. And without it, it wouldn't have helped me get to the level that we're at right now.
Yeah, so my main goal was to meet up with some people I only met via Teams or video calls. And we already accomplished that. I mean, it's been great, and I'm totally looking forward to connect with many more people and to see some sessions. I mean, the plan looks very interesting.
Collaboration is important. In Australia, we live in a little bubble, and we're not really exposed to other people in the market unless you are in that mindset of collaborating. So I think it's a good idea to get everyone out and see what ideas we can transfer and see how we can get a better outcome for the end customers, which is, economic value to the region.
I've been running my business for 10 years, and I think for 6 or 7 of them I ran it in a vacuum and didn't have a network or industry peers, and I've learned an unbelievable amount. And so for me, PackSite's, giving me the opportunity to come here is huge because I see how much value I can learn from a more global lens.
So I love some geography, so it's only fitting that now we turn our attention overseas to Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Asia Pacific to get a global perspective. So I'd like to welcome Harold and Chris. We call him Sharpie here on the office, but their offices have experienced crazy growth in the past few years. So tell us about the growth you've seen in both your markets. We'll start with Harold.
Yeah, sure. So we're a bit of a patchwork in Europe. We had a few acquisitions, but we also had a lot of autonomous growth. And over the last 4 years, we've seen explosive growth, yes. Why is that? Because we feel that the PackSite story and methodology really resonated and is still resonating. So we're a team of just over 400 working out of 10 different offices. And yeah, the steam is coming out of our ears because we have a lot of things to do and we're doing really well.
And you know what, thanks to Harold and his growth, it gave us an opportunity to grow in APAC. We're in 7 different countries, we're 2 years old, and we're in, I would say, probably about 11 offices, because in places like Australia, you have to have multiple offices because it's such a big country. For you, if you really love geography, you'll know that Australia is as big as mainland USA, yes. Right? With no people.
And everybody lives around the coast.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of offices.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So we've got to start with these jackets as well, because I've seen these jackets. I might have partaken in the jackets. Tell me about the jackets.
Well, I don't have a Beyond, right? So I thought I would take over this one. And the best way to take over Beyond is to make sure that everyone knows that we're here. So I've got 120 people maybe walking around in white jackets with Team APAC written on the back.
And you know what? We actually had somebody from your team put together a small video. So let's go ahead and roll it.
Pax8 has brought so many great brands under one roof. It's informative and refreshing and thought-provoking to get different perspectives.
Listened to some amazing speakers already. The discussion around AI has been really good. It's just really sort of helped change my view of where we need to be headed with AI as well.
So I've really enjoyed today's event. There's been quite a bit of talk about cybersecurity, and I think that really resonates quite strongly so with the SME community here in New Zealand. But overall, it's been a fantastic event. Looking forward to the afternoon session.
It's great to hear from leaders and also vendors who are day-to-day in it and how we can apply that to customers we serve. So it's awesome.
So here in the States, we get a lot of buzzword bingo around all the hot topics, AI, cybersecurity, all that kind of stuff. But are the themes the same in your regions? Or are there certain things that are hotter or moving more quickly? Or how do you think about what are the themes in your regions?
Well, so the biggest one for us at the moment still in APAC is security and privacy, right? We've got to get that right. We've got to help our partners to get their data estate in the right order, so then we can start talking about AI and do all the rest of those things. But until we've got security right, we can't play.
Right.
I think it's no different for us, but building on what you just said, what we do see is a lot of the MSPs in the European area are not capable of doing everything on their own anymore. So what we do see is a real serious and for me positive trend that you see this partner-to-partner motion, and not just within a country, but even internationally. We've seen the first Pax8 partners from Estonia and Germany working together, which is really cool, I think.
That is incredible. So you already kind of teed it up, but beyond Berlin, it's right around the corner. What can you tell us so far?
Well, feel the pressure, guys, because the bar has been raised again today. But yes, in October 13 to 15, we will be hosting our first European Beyond. I'm very excited. Berlin is the place where we all be going to. The good thing is we're already halfway through in terms of registrations. We aim at 500 MSPs. I was challenged to bring in a few more. Let's see how far we can go. And you will see great content, just as here, but we will have regionalized content, local speakers, great closing act, obviously, and some exciting product roadmap deliveries as well. So come check us out.
It's going to be excellent.
I've heard this tiny rumor, Sharpie, that you are like mildly competitive. And given that we have a Beyond here and Harold has one, do you plan on taking Nick Hetty like hostage so you can get a Beyond in APAC? Or what extremes are you willing to go to get a Beyond in APAC?
Every Beyond is my Beyond. Right? Every
You're going to take over all of them.
Beyond flagship is APAC Beyond, right? Beyond Berlin, I'll take probably the same sort of numbers as came here. We'll go to Berlin. Then when we finally go and do one in APAC, we'll show you how to do it.
There you go. Right? And understand Germans love David Hasselhoff. Any truth to the fact that David Hasselhoff will make an appearance?
He's still big, but I don't think he'll be joining us. But I can't disclose who will be closing it. So let's see.
Guys, I know it's a lot going on, so big thank you for both your time today.
Thank you.
Look forward to the rest of the event with you both.
Pleasure to be here.
All right. Big thanks to them. Big shout out. Let's check out Women in Tech.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you. This is phenomenal.
I have always been excited by Pax8's thought leadership, and especially when it comes to women and technology. I believe that it's critical that we hear not only women, but just all sorts of different voices in technology. Diversity is really what brings growth and change and strength to our organization, and really the technology industry as a whole.
The networking, building relationships, and having people like me. Is there any way I can help you? Because if I can help you, I want to do that. And that is the biggest value of the channel and the industry, is that we all want each other to succeed. It's not just about how I do, it's about how we all do together.
I'm going to get started. We have a short time with these amazing leaders. I'm going to moderate a few questions, but we're going to also kick it up to the audience.
The amount of people that are here is actually what stood out to me, and it shows that the women in this space are going nowhere, that we're stronger, that more of us are here. That was the coolest thing, just to look around and say, there are a bunch of me's around, and that's something I didn't really know really existed until I came to a space like this.
I think for me, one of the hardest pieces was negotiating for myself and taking on new roles as a woman. I always come in with notes of affirmation on the desk or on my phone in front of me. So if I'm having a difficult conversation, I have those things to reference.
I find it's really helpful to be with people who face the same type of challenges that you face, and you can just be yourself with. And you can just be open, and you can be honest, and you can get the support and help that you need. I've been very fortunate in this industry to have some wonderful men and women be my allies all throughout my journey. I think panels like this are hugely important to continue to carry that message throughout the organization and the industry.
All right, I'm so excited to have some guests here. Thank you so much both for joining. Just tell us each of your names. We'll start with you.
Alexandra Matheson.
Excellent.
Trellis Usher.
Excellent. I'm so excited to have you both. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to start on a low note, okay? And then we're gonna pump it up from there. But when you look at women in technology, by about age 35, we're getting a lot of people that are exiting this specific area. And it's so sad. There's just harassment. There's just things that are happening. Now, what are your thoughts on that? And let's start with you, Alexandra.
Thank you. Yeah. So the stat itself is pretty damning. It looks like about 50% of women by the age of 35 in the technology industry will exit. And many of them are reporting long-term bias in the workplace. So it's really, we just have to collectively acknowledge that bias is very much a part of a lot of corporate culture. That hasn't changed, and it has a really big impact on the way women are treated generally in the workplace and how they're evaluated in terms of performance, how resources are allocated.
Absolutely. Trellis?
And I think that, there was a promise that technology offered to women, and that we thought it was going to be a place where we have flexible work arrangements, right? You could earn a very good living with your skills and your experiences. But I think by the time you hit 35 and you're starting to get really into your life, in your 20s, your sort of early career, there's nothing in your way, you're able to work the long hours, make all the trips.
You haven't hit the glass ceiling yet.
You haven't hit the glass ceiling yet. And so when you start to get into your 30s, what you realize is that as you're trying to bring your whole self to work, right, which is what we say, it becomes increasingly difficult. And so I think there was a promise that technology had that we've just not fulfilled. And so I think women are making some choices. We also know that women are sort of one of the largest demographics in terms of starting new businesses, right? Entrepreneurship. So it's really how can we help to make the workplace better, more equitable, a place where women feel like when they hit that age range, they don't have to rethink their entire careers.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And, we talk a lot about empowerment. We talk a lot about equality. Can you just define those for me, Trellis, and maybe what are the differences in those two?
Alexandra and I were talking a little bit about this before we came up. And I think, when we think about equality and equity and all those things, there are two terms for me that really I think people need to grapple with, making sure they understand the difference between. And that's equality. Equality is we give everybody the same thing, right? We treat everybody equally. Equity is more needs-based. We look at communities and groups that have historically been marginalized, underrepresented, and we may need to do some things differently in order to create equality, right? So we're starting from different places, and equity realizes and recognizes that. Equality, I like to say, is the outcome. I would hope that I'm alive. When we get to true equality, we're just not there yet. And so we can't sort of use the language as a way to let ourselves off of the hook. We do have to do some things differently to sort of bring the floor up for everybody, and then we can start talking equality.
Absolutely. We're raising the tide, right?
Yeah,
That's right.
And you actually brought in an impactful term, empowerment. It's something that comes up a lot in these conversations, and I think it's important to say, women don't need to be empowered. women are powerful. Women are doing powerful things and have been for the entirety of humanity. What we need is enablement. Women need to be enabled to thrive. We need the resources required to thrive. And that can look like a lot of things in the workplace. It can look like equal opportunity in the workplace to take on business impacting roles and projects. And it ideally looks like equal pay, equitable pay for that work.
And you're both just such successful, powerful, incredible women in this field. Is there, I know you got to do that. Is there a moment that comes to mind that you're like, you know what, this was kind of one of those turning points?
Yeah.
To start with you.
Trellis and I were talking about this moments ago, and many moons ago, I set a goal for myself. I knew I wanted to be in the C-suite before the age of 40. And
it's ambitious.
It's ambitious, unapologetically.
Yes.
And I hit my goal. And believe it or not, my pivotal moment is not when I hit the goal. It was the aftermath. It was realizing that the goal, while it was satisfying, it wasn't what I thought it would be. And what was really impactful for me was realizing that purposeful work is what I was seeking. And so I'm still in that. I'm still in that moment of trying to realize, what does that purposeful work look like for me day to day, and how does that evolve over the remainder of my career?
Absolutely. Trellis.
For me, it was, I grew up in corporate environments, working for large enterprise companies, and I thought that was where I would stay. And the pivotal moment for me was when I left corporate, went out, started my own business, and realized that, bringing my entire self to that experience, all of my skills, all of my experiences, all of my lived experiences and who I am, it was a good place of discovery for me. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the way that I work. I developed a sense of agency, right? When you're working for yourself, when you're a consultant, people call you because you got the answers, right?
Yes,
and so you grow a level of confidence in that, and I grew a level of confidence in that. And then I realized I missed sort of being a member of a team, and so I came back into corporate, but I spent about 9 years kind of working independently as an entrepreneur, and I learned so much about me during that time that for me that was one of those pivotal moments where you learn that you can sort of fish for yourself. You can go. I didn't think I was a salesperson at all, but when your children are partial to heat and light and food in the refrigerator, you learn that you can sell.
Yes, you sure can.
So that was a pivotal moment for me, for sure.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Ladies, I just want you guys to keep crushing it. You are doing such amazing work out there. I know you have a session tomorrow. I'm looking forward to attending that.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time today. And I will definitely be there to support you guys.
Thanks,
for that.
Kristen.
Excellent. All right, let's go ahead and roll on to the video because we have a ton of partners here. Let's hear from them.
What hasn't AI touched in the last year? And actually, it's very weird that you even say that, and you think about how that wasn't a conversation a year ago, and how much the landscape has changed is really, really wild.
It's had a huge impact. Obviously, customers have come running to us asking about AI. How do we do this? How do we implement it? What is the strategy? And sometimes we have to take them back a little step in the excitement and make them go on the journey of AI, make them understand what's involved. But the revenue has shown up because of it.
We've had a huge double down on AI and Copilot in our business. I'm fortunate that we've kind of got development capability internally, so really jumped on playing with the AI tools and treating ourselves as customer zero. And that's been like the first learning for us. The second play has certainly been giving access to Copilot to key staff and trialing that internally.
AI has helped us to automate our customer service. But business side, all the customers are looking also into AI. So this has been advantage for us to learn where Microsoft going with their AI technology, and it has helped us in marketing, for example.
Just having AI help us with scripting has been awesome. So that's one thing. And then I think there's a big opportunity for AI in customers' hands. AI is the new hotness now.
All right, we all know AI is a hot topic this year. AI is redefining managed service providers entirely. And here to talk about that, we've got Robin and Nathan. Welcome to the show.
Glad to have you all. So I understand you had a session earlier today where you were talking about unlocking AI potential for MSPs. What were some of the insights that you shared with the audience today?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is creating the future. What they do right now is going to set up the future, and the future is very bright, but we got to do some work.
100%.
I think it's such an exciting topic, but everybody feels like they have such a learning curve. And so I think there's a fear, there's excitement, there's a lack of knowing how to attack the product and understand what it is and how it applies. So lots of interesting conversations.
So there's a lot of technical terms that get thrown out, right? When you talk about AI, everybody gets very excited. But when we talk about AI sprawl, what is it? We need to prevent it. How are we feeling?
Yeah, but I think it's in everything now, right? It's in your search engines, it's on your phone. I mean, every announcement from Apple and Google and Microsoft is about a new form of AI coming into stuff, and all your users are using those things, ChatGPT, people are playing with and testing it. So I think it's such a market opportunity, everybody's trying to jump on it, but they're putting it into everything.
Into everything. So when you bring in a vendor, they're going to have AI, and they're using vendors that are going to have AI, and they're using vendors that are going to have AI, and all of that can actually start impacting a business's ecosystem.
Yeah, it's showing up in weird places, like an Instagram search. I'm like, I just want to find my friend. I'm not asking weird questions in Instagram search. But so what in your AI right now is like buzzword bingo-y kind of, and everyone wants to attach it to everything because it seems sexy and cool and that kind of thing. But use cases are super important. So what do you see as like the tangible opportunities that an MSP can realize right now?
I think a business needs to understand its operations and where it can really increase productivity versus just, putting AI everywhere just because it's sexy. Put it where it needs to be, right? Put it where it needs to be and leave it out where you don't need it.
I think it applies a lot in information working scenarios. Meetings, emails, anytime there's a lot of conversation back and forth, it excels. Ticket analyzing, those sorts of scenarios, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
100%. So I did take a note here because there's a new study, and I want to make sure that we are on the same page here. So the new study of the impact of generative AI on highly skilled workers finds when AI is used within the boundary of its capabilities, it can improve a worker's performance by 40%. Do you find that to be true? I know you're using it. Like, what are your thoughts on that study?
I think it's a learning curve. So I think if you find the ways where it fits, it's really powerful. And it's things like meeting recaps that are just instantly done that are powerful. Like even personally, I feel like I struggle to still change the way I think. I think in Outlook,
the way you work.
Yeah, I jump into the search bar in Outlook because I've been doing that for 20 years.
Yeah. Right.
This would be quicker in ChatGPT or Copilot, but it's these habits that are hard to break. But I think once you do, it's a really powerful thing.
What do you see, Robin?
There are areas where it helps, where it makes you more productive, where it stimulates the thinking. It's like you got a partner. And then there are areas where you need to not use it.
That's fair. That's fair. Maybe, not everybody should write legal contracts with it. We don't know. We'll see.
So, to the normal people that don't live in this world, right? We see the benefits of it, but to the normal people, I think they have this vision of Arnold Schwarzenegger from Terminator coming back to, I for one welcome our AI overlords kind of thing. Like, how do you kind of dispel some of those frightening things when people bring them up to you?
Well, I'm a sci-fi lover and a writer, so I love that idea of it, but there are real risks that we do have to worry about, and it's not the Terminator.
Yeah. It's the fact that you didn't segregate your data and let it be searchable to everybody.
You can implement access management controls, and now bad guys got your data.
That's right. Do you have thoughts on that too?
Well, ChatGPT 4.0 just came out. When they get to S, is codenamed Skynet.
Oh.
And so that's when it happens.
So they're leaning into that.
We're getting there.
That's good. Hey, we appreciate y'all so much for coming and helping kind of talk through some of the real stuff beyond the buzzword around AI. So thank you for that. Up next, I'm excited for my one-on-one with SentinelOne.
What an event. You know, Nick told me that Beyond was going to go large, and it certainly has. The energy in this room, the community, by the way, and the company Pax8. Here representing SentinelOne, I have to tell you, I am so proud of the partnership that we've forged over the years with Pax8. And what I'd say is all the accomplishment that we've had up to date, thank you very much. I still would submit to you that our best days are in front of us as partners and with this community, with all of you. So thank you for that. So look, the first thing I'd say is I speak to customers every day of the week, around the world, across all different markets, across all different industries, and certainly spanning from a small to medium-sized business right up to a global bank. Look at some of these facts. 1.5 million endpoints being managed and being protected around the world. We have over 6.5 million incidents that were detected across all of the partner base. 1.25 of those were actually ransomware attacks that were prevented. The amount of money and disruption that was saved is tremendous. 2 million of those incidents were actually mitigated automatically. And then you look there, almost half of these incidents were detected through AI. Once again, the power in AI, the power in this platform, the power in the partnership that we have with Pax8 is tremendous.
Ken, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself and then SentinelOne.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Quite an event. Quite an event. My first one, by the way. Yeah. I'm Ken Marks, and I run the global partner channel for SentinelOne, including MSPs and all other partner routes to market. Been in the industry quite some time. Started at IBM. Lots of time in cybersecurity with companies like Palo Alto Networks, Splunk, and now here at SentinelOne.
Very good. What do you do when you're not at work?
Yeah, so when I'm not at work, I love the water.
Okay.
Right, love the lake, so boating.
Like a wake boat, surf boat kind of deal?
Pontoon boat. I'm getting a little bit older now.
So a little more cruising.
Yeah, I like to pull the inner tubers instead of being on the inner tubers.
There you go. That's good. I bet you're good at tossing the people who think they can't get tossed.
Exactly.
Right? Yes.
Exactly.
So what opportunities do you see for MSPs with cloud security market for this year?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. We still fully believe that small and medium-sized customers need help, right? They need help in solving their biggest and toughest security challenges.
Yeah.
And that's where the MSPs come into play. And with cloud security, which isn't a new frontier, but it's becoming more and more of a predominant attack vector, it becomes more and more important for the MSPs to have the skill set and the resources to help the SMBs who really don't have that.
Yeah. So we have tons of content here. We have people watching at home on YouTube. Trying to distill some of that to something easy to take away. What are like 2 or 3 things that you think an MSP ought to be focusing on?
Yeah, I mean, continuous learning, right? I think with Pax8 Academy and some of the things that you bring to offer that vendors can tap into to help enable the MSPs to really hone their skill sets around new technologies, new attack surfaces, be that identity, cloud, or AI. So, you know, I would say continuous learning is critical for everybody.
Yeah, that's one of the things I love about cybersecurity. I'm kind of one of those guys that always loves to learn something new, and there's always something new, and it's never going away.
Never boring.
Really, because the threat actors just keep evolving and all that stuff. I mean, you know, SentinelOne has great brand and brand recognition in the market. What do y'all do to kind of attract good people, keep good people, and, you know, really keep that culture top of mind at SentinelOne?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting. I've been here almost 4 years, pre-IPO through the historic growth that we've seen.
A little bit of growth then?
Yeah. And one thing that's stayed constant is there's no egos, right? Everybody's here for a purpose. And that purpose is really to help our customers solve their toughest security challenges. And that hasn't changed, and that's from the top all the way down to the individual contributors. And that's what I'm proud to say when I interview people, when I bring people into the company or they talk to me. That's something that hasn't changed over the years, and I just don't see it changing at all.
Yeah, I think one thing you touched on earlier I'd like to go back to is like the SMBs is the places that we shop, the places that employ our family members, the places you go eat in your community are SMBs. And ultimately, they have MSPs that they rely on. Right. So really what you do through the channel is trying to really kind of save SMB America from the bad guys.
Hey, that's what I tell my family and tell my wife and my son, and it's exciting.
Yeah, it's a good thing, and I think that ultimately we can focus on those broader, higher level issues as opposed to just kind of, this, but there is this serving this ultimate goal that is the SMB community out there, which is great. So, hey, we appreciate your time up here today. We appreciate you being with us. So, coming up next, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I'm talking about at Beyond, my own session.
I think a lot of people are focused on physical threats, but a lot of the digital threats that are coming are going to be much more advanced, especially with AGI getting into the hands of some of the people that are, let's say, with nefarious intentions. But it's something that we're staying on the forefront of to ensure that we make sure that all the MSPs stay compliant as well.
The key part of cybersecurity is coming up with the single pane of glass. It has to be manageable, and if you're looking at multiple consoles, multiple tools, becomes pretty daunting. So single pane of glass for us is really critical.
I think it's certainly being part of that rising tide of awareness is a critical piece. So, the ecosystem that Pax8 represents and brings to the table, I think is critical for MSPs and for the SMBs to really kind of not just understand from an awareness level, but then have access to the solutions to facilitate change.
I'm really pleased that Microsoft has given us kind of the opportunity to have a more closed ecosystem for customer data, including our own data. The thought of employees and whoever just kind of sticking company information out into ChatGPT and kind of letting it run around is really terrifying. So it's been really good to have an option where we can at least get our arms around kind of some of the security aspects of it.
Just even meeting some of the other cybersecurity companies here, the vendors, the partners as well, we only see this as a way to strengthen our offering together and not against each other.
Interesting outcome.
All right, so in today's digital age, we hear it over and over. You've heard it throughout the show. Security is key. David is going to go through how we are helping MSPs make sure their clients stay secure. Welcome to the show, maybe? I don't know.
The host has become the interviewee. How about that?
So now I'm ready.
That's right.
You had a session.
I did.
A well-attended session, might I say.
It was very well attended, thank you.
So can you give me just some quick cliff notes? What did you talk about in that session?
Yeah, so cybersecurity is like dizzying, right? There's all these different things going on. So what I really try to do in my talks is make it really easy. So I want MSPs to have an easy conversation with their end users to get them to do something. So the first thing that we talk about is that this is a risk conversation, not a tech conversation. Cybersecurity is about mitigating risk. Not everybody has the same risk tolerance or risk profile. Some people drive fast, some drive slow, that kind of thing. So I want them to have the risk conversation with the person at the company, the end user, whose job it is to decide what the risk for the company actually is. So that's one piece. Then the other piece is there's all these different layers of cybersecurity, but I'm like, what is the basic minimum? So I use this analogy of seatbelts and airbags, is that you can buy a car with all these safety systems, but every car you get has seatbelts and airbags. So what are the seatbelts and airbags that every end user should have around cybersecurity? And we really kind of tie that out to what cybersecurity insurance is looking for. And it's five things. It's advanced threat protection, it's EDR, it's MFA, security awareness training, and segregated backups. So those five things are really the seatbelts and airbags that if I was an MSP and I'm going to talk to my end users, I want them to have seatbelts and airbags and have those five things deployed across all of my customers. Then I can go back and talk to them about additional layers of security based on their risk tolerance, but that's the great starting point for everyone.
I don't think this is your first event to speak at.
It is not.
But there's a lot of prep that goes into maybe what you're presenting, things like that. So spill the tea, tell us what you did to get ready.
Yeah.
Going into this, what does it take?
So real talk is I was a speech communication major in college and then my master's in public relations and advertising. So I've been doing this kind of thing for a long time. And I would say that I think the best part is subject matter mastery. Right, so the more that you immerse yourself in your own topic and know it,
you're comfortable talking
about it. And so we play this game in college in one of our public speaking 401 called like you know. And so you would come in each day and someone would have to draw a topic out and then we'd start the stopwatch and stop the stopwatch when they said like, or And the way to win that is just to pick a topic and then pivot it to something that you can talk about without pausing. So similarly, when I get up to talk, it's something that I've probably delivered on a bunch of times and I've practiced and all that kind of stuff. The other thing that I would say for people who are looking to kind of improve their public speaking is take any opportunity you can to do it. The more you do something, the more you get better at it and the less nervous you become doing it. So practice, as they say, makes perfect. So just take every opportunity. And then also my thing is I have very few words on the slide. I have visuals.
Yes.
So that way I can't, if I need to move on, I can move on and I'm not trying to cover all the stuff. I always assume literacy on the part of the audience. So if I'm going to read the slides, just print it and hand it out.
And that makes sense because you say to do it often, right? So this is our second year, Beyond Live.
I know.
How are you feeling about it so far?
It's been really fun, and I appreciate the opportunity from PaxSafe to let us do
Absolutely.
this. But it is, I was surprised. I've had a bunch of partners come up and they were like, hey, I couldn't come last year, but I watched y'all's show. And so it was a really good way for them that, people that didn't get to attend. And let's face it, these businesses are pretty labor intensive, right? Somebody has to work at support desk and all that kind of stuff. So you can't just pack up your entire MSP and bring them here as much as we would like for them to come here. But this gives an opportunity to feel engaged, to get the content, to get the learning without having to, miss a lot of time out of the office. So this is a blast. You're fun to work with. And really, if all of y'all could see the massive amount of people out here that are making this happen, they are awesome. They're so good and make this really easy for us.
Awesome, awesome. All right, well, we've got a lot more to cover. So good stuff. Thank you for sharing everything on the insights. I know that's always super valuable to everybody. So let's hear about one of the topics that we definitely need to make sure we are focusing on: cybersecurity.
Hacks are going to happen. Hacks can happen to anybody, but having the right tools in place, having the right partners in place to help you through those issues and just reducing our risk as much as possible.
Generative AI is out. We're giving it our data. It has all of our data, so to speak. Now we need to secure that next. That's going to be the next focus. It's the endless game of cat and mouse.
With the rise of AI and the adoption of AI, we're going to have a lot of people, a lot of new breaches, a lot of new attack vectors, a lot of new threats. So for us, we've been focusing a lot on AI readiness.
My number one concern as a security officer, obviously, is data security. And before we implement it into a client, we actually do a series of developments with them to categorize data, to secure it before they even launch Copilot.
My number one concern as far as cybersecurity threats to the MSP model is the unknowns. It's understanding what the new trends are. It's working and collaborating with other solutions in our space to work together to provide the best outcomes possible and the highest level of security to the customers and partners that we work with. And so PaxSafe is instrumental to our business and to the growth and helping us protect our partners and customers to the best of our ability. The feedback that we get from not only the PaxSafe reps, but the PaxSafe partners really help us with developing our solution into the future so we can protect against those unknown and known threats.
All right, we are so excited to have some cybersecurity specialists here with us. Dom and who is this? Matt Lee. We know with the beard. Hey.
Look, for the record, we love these guys. We know them well. And I'll just go in and say the joke that I always have for Matt, because I love him so much, is Matt doesn't need an introduction. What he needs is a conclusion. So we'll see if we can keep this in the time frame that we have today. It's unlikely. We'll see what we can do. So I know that both of y'all have sessions this thing. Cybersecurity is like a super hot focus. The bad guys are always coming up with something new. I mean, they're really clever guys. Can you ever foresee of a time where this is not a topic that we have to deal with?
If you want me to be honest, I would say yes, at least to a point where it's expected. I knew a very brilliant guy that draws a number of deaths per billion miles traveled chart. And there's a certain point where nobody's thinking about that level of death.
Yeah.
When you're at a state where everybody's not crashing all around you like an ice storm and everything's chaotic, and it's just the normal expected, that guy wasn't paying attention and tapped the other guy, it's a lot easier to manage. And so I think, yes, if we ever get the other things right, which I'll talk about in a minute, I don't think we'll people have this problem in the same way.
Yeah. What about you, Dom?
Yeah, I would concur, but there's a lot of work to get there. The amazing thing, though, coming to Beyond and other events and talking to partners, is every time we do it, we're just a little more challenged, sometimes a lot more challenged. So we see it and we're working towards that horizon. So there will come a day.
To piggyback on that real quick, I was listening to my good friend Matt talk like last week, and he was talking about how this patch had become available, and only like 42% of MSPs had deployed it.
Yeah.
And to your point, right, there's still a lot of work to do out there.
So speaking of a lot of work, you guys do a lot of main stage stuff, you do a lot of stuff directly with partners, but for anybody that's watching right now on YouTube, right, if you were to give them a top 3 takeaway, what would they be for cybersecurity? Matt, we'll start with you.
Yes, that way I get to get the easy ones first. I would say we like to make cyber this big thing, and people say, AI will save us, and I'm going to tackle that quite hyperbolically tomorrow. But we talk about cyber as if the threat actors get more and more sophisticated, and they're just impossible for us to win. That is inaccurate. We are not doing the basics. We're not doing the basic hygienic things. I'll tie this to the general that got up on stage at the MIT commencement speech and said, life's about making your bed. Right? And it goes on a bit to that point, but if we would simply deal with the basics of IG1 and CIS or whatever framework you're going to use, and then do them well and iterate upon them, then you're fine. So my top 3 takeaways are basics, 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 or developers, developers,
Choose
developers.
a framework.
Yeah, I think, I concur with the basics, but my second takeaway would be to really develop an actual cyber program, right? We work on the sales side, we do a lot on the technical side, but we really need everyone to understand that even coming from Pax8, I think that the products you pick are the least of your worries, right?
Sure.
And you need to focus on building mature operations around cybersecurity, and that's really what we're trying to empower here. So I'm going to steal basics, because that's just, and I'm going to say build a program, and I'm going to say be a forever student. Right? Understand that you will never master. There's no cybersecurity mastery. You're always a practitioner. You're always learning.
One of the questions is this idea around like actual next steps, but the theme that was kind of there is like at the core of all this is really not technology, it's humans.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And so, I know that both of y'all are big on like policies and following and stuff. What have y'all seen work to kind of educate the humans around cybersecurity in an organization?
I think it starts with governance, and it starts with leadership. Right? If you have a very engaged leader that's saying this is important, then in the organization those things stay important and they happen. And we like to make this out as if we had better training, if we had all these other things. It really is what the company commits to do. And I think you do a lot of that in what you're working on, which is getting people to get the understanding, the hearts and minds, get fit first, move in. And then once you start making that, bless you, and then once you start making that setup and start getting people behind it, then it's about ensuring that they have the education, that they're empowered to make the right decisions, right? That if Kristen finds something bad and wants to turn it in, that she's not going to fear reprisal. She's not going to feel embarrassed about it. She doesn't have to say, well, maybe I didn't understand. So it's about not just the training, it's about the whole human. Yet again, we come back to this understanding of kind of Maslow's needs that play out again even in trying to implement cyber and training. They won't learn if you don't give them the ability and the confidence, the time, and the reason to go do those things.
Dom, thoughts on humans?
I would expand on that, right? Is get leadership engaged and make it part of the company culture. But I found a lot of success in expanding into, let me help you secure your personal life, right, Mr. and Mrs. Employee, saying this is a concern for you, not just the company you work at. And by making them more secure in their personal lives, they're naturally more secure in their work lives. But also you've helped them. You've done them a solid. You've said, hey, your Facebook or your whatever accounts you have are at risk. And spending that time has been really valuable.
And you've done you a solid.
You have done you a solid.
When they don't get to attack your employee and then use that against you. That's been seen in several cases.
That is awesome. Guys, I know you're busy. Big thank you for both your time today.
Thank you.
And really just helping us wrap up the show. Overall, looking forward to the rest of y'all's sessions while you're here. All right, day 1. It was quick.
Yeah.
It's a wrap for the day, but we have something going on at the main stage. Let's take a quick look. All right. So this was such a wonderful show. Thank you to all of the guests who made this possible. We look back. We're going to see them tomorrow. We're going to be back
tomorrow. We'll be back
tomorrow.
If they don't fire us after today, then we'll be back tomorrow. Right?
All right. We'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Morning, everybody. How are y'all feeling? Thank you very much.
for being here.
Looking to meet more people and get to know more about PaxAid.
Getting to know more of the PaxAid team. For me, that's the key.
But are you ready for 2 days of nonstop community, education, and innovation? Make some noise if you are.
You see, every business starts with a dream.
We're pretty excited to see kind of what's changed and what new things are coming along this year. Last year was a great show, it was a great experience, and it was good to see everybody.
Together, we will transform the way businesses operate.
What I love about Beyond and events like this is kind of meeting with our peers, meeting with our partners, meeting with PaxAid, understanding where PaxAid are going, and learning from that, working closely together.
It's about filling the top of the funnel and helping you grow your businesses.
Bring partners together with customers, with world-class technology. I just love getting out and being a sponge, learning what I can from everyone and making great connections.
It's great to see the PaxAid community grow, and there are just some specific regional things that are captured in these conferences that are so powerful.
We're going to create experiences that lift all of us and generate shared growth across this entire channel.
Because your future is our future, and your future starts now.